I encourage you to do a search on John Wilkes Booth being drafted. I think you will be surprised at how whitewashed the subject is, both on the internet and in books. And here's a curious story from Wikipedia. Booth attended the hanging on December 2, 1859, of abolitionist leader John Brown, who was executed for leading a raid on the Federal Armory at Harper's Ferry, in present-day West Virginia. Booth had been rehearsing at the Richmond Theater when he abruptly decided to join the Richmond Greys, a volunteer militia of 1,500 men, traveling to Charlestown for Brown's hanging, to guard against an attempt by abolitionists to rescue Brown from the gallows by force. When Brown was hanged without incident, Booth stood in uniform near the scaffold and afterwards expressed great satisfaction with Brown's fate, although he admired the condemned man's bravery in facing death stoically. That's very odd for many reasons. The first reason ties into a recent paper I wrote, where I showed you that Theosophy founder Henry Steele Olcott was also on hand for the hanging of John Brown as a spy for the New York Tribune. Olcott later worked for the War Department in intelligence and was on the panel investigating the assassination of Lincoln. Well, Booth also looks like a spy or agent here, since the given story doesn't make any sense. The reason they had to come up with this story is that Booth was photographed standing near the scaffold in a gray uniform, and they needed to explain it. The problem is, Booth was already a rich and famous actor by 1859, and Wikipedia admits he was making $500,000 a year by that time. Do you really think the Richmond Greys are going to allow a famous millionaire actor from the North to volunteer for a single event and then unvolunteer a few weeks later? It doesn't work that way. For a start, the Greys were part of the Army, the 1st Virginia Infantry Regiment, and you don't just walk away from the Army. Go volunteer for the Army now and see if they let you unvolunteer next month. A more logical reading of this is that Booth was acting like a Richmond Grey and failed to get caught by the real Greys in the turmoil of the event. That explains why he was able to just walk away from the part later. Mainstream sources admit Booth went right back to the theater and finished the 1859-60 season in Richmond. He then went back north for a tour of major cities. If the Richmond Greys didn't give him the uniform and set him up in the part, who did? I would say it is pretty obvious Union intelligence did, and that this is just one more piece of evidence indicating Booth was working for them all along. Actors don't get draft exemptions, but actors who are also hidden agents do. As I think you can see, Booth was actually the perfect choice for this part of Double Agent. Actors have been used by intelligence since the beginning, since their acting skills are useful, since they travel widely, since they have many contacts, and since the charm and looks of an actor allow him or her to do many things a normal person could not do.